Good morning and welcome to my class again. I am very happy that you have been learning from last two lessons, and in last two videos I have explained the lesson the never never nest, and probably we are going to complete the lesson. We are in the last portion of the lesson, but few of the words I concern as important for you to learn, so I'm going to give you a few more words that are very important to know so that you may understand the lesson very well. So the first word is villa, a large, that meaning is villa means a large or luxurious country residence. Okay, villa means a large or luxurious country residence. And number second is shriek meaning a high loud cry or high pitch of sound. Tartar, tartar meaning an irritable person. Number four is fugue, it is an expression of shock or relief. Number five is motto, which means a guiding slogan. Okay, and number six is pound, that mean is the unit of money in the United Kingdom, worth 100 pence. Number seven is absurd, meaning a situation in which life seems irrational and meaningless or senseless or ridiculous. Number eight is relent meaning finally agreed to something after initial referral. Repeating again, finally agreed to something after initial refusal. Sorry, it is initial refusal. Now number nine is uh, Marks and Spencer, a British, the meaning is a British multinational retailer of goods. Okay, and then Thingamy. Okay, Thingamy meaning a word used in spoken English when name of the object has been forgotten. Okay, so in Hindi, थिंगमी मीनिंग क्या नाम है उसका. ओके, सो थिंगमी meaning a word used in spoken English when name of the object has been forgotten, when something we forget. So we say in spoken English thingamy. Now number 11 is endorse meaning to put signature on the back of a check in order to make able to be paid to someone. So that is the words meaning. So these are the words meaning that you will have to learn. And now we will learn those parts which are remaining. So let me remind you that we have seen the lesson never nest in unit second. So I have told you all the activities or all the discussions which has taken place between Anjan, Jack and Jill, and if you want to see that, you just see the second video. I hope you have seen, and then we will see the next part of the next portion that are remaining. Now let me briefly tell you what happened in the last uh, part of the video. Jack and Jill, they were living in a house that was so expensive, that was so luxurious, but they were they had everything, but they all those things that did not belong to them, because all those things were in installment. And finally at the last we saw that in order to pay all the installment of the house and of the of the luxurious items of their house, in order to pay those things, they took or they borrowed money from Thrift and Providence Trust Corporation, which is, we can say, bank. And then in order to pay the installment of or in order to pay the amount which they have taken or which they have borrowed from the bank, they also paid those amount of money in installment. After that, what happened? Anjan, she says, installment, when she came to know about all those things that are paid in installment, what happened, you see here, she claps her hand to her forehead, means she just did like this, and then she shrink back, or she fell on the chair back, and then she realized, she was sitting when she fell on the chair, and then she realized after sitting on the chair, she realized that she was sitting on Mr. Sage's piece, and she was sitting on the chair, and I have told you that the complete chair did not belong to Jack and Jill, means some of the legs of the chair belongs to Mr. Sage. So when she realized, when Aunt Jen, she realized that she was sitting in the part of Mr. Sage, what she did, she leaps, means she jumped quickly from that chair, or we can say that she jumped to her feet again, means she stood on her feet, and then Jack, he said to Aunt Jen, Aunt Jen, is anything the matter? Would you like to lie down? Means, would you like to rest? Jack asked to Aunt Jen, but Aunt Jen, she replied, lie down or sleep? No. Do you think I'm going to trust myself, or do you think that I'm going to lie down on the bed that does not belong to you and that belongs to Mr. Sage or Mr. Marks or Mr. Spencer or somebody else? I'm not going to lie down, I'm not going to sleep on the bed that does not belong to you and that belongs to somebody else. Now, she says, no, I'm going home. I don't want to rest here. I don't want to sleep here, but I'm going home. Jill, she says, oh, must you go really? क्या आपको जाना जरूरी है? That is the Hindi translation for that. Okay. And then Anjan, she says, I think it would be better, or I would be better. Now, Jack, he says, I will drive you to the station. No, Jack, he said to Aunt Jan, okay, if you want to go to home, I will drive you up to the station or to the station. Aunt Jan, she said, what? You want me to sit on the chair that does not belong to you? Now, what Aunt Jan, she says, what? Travel in a car that has only one tire and two thingamies. Okay. Now, Aunt Jan, she says, you want me to sit on the car that has only one tire and two thingamies. Now, she says two thingamies. Thingamies word is used, when in spoken English, when something is forgotten, when you want to say something and you don't find that particular word, for that you say thingamies. Okay. For plural thingamies and for singular thingamy. Okay, so Aunt Jancy says, travel in that car that has only one tire. See, it means one tire belong to Jack and Jill. Okay, and two thingamies. Two thingamies meaning, she wanted to say two cylinders, but she did not get that particular word, so that she said thingamies. And then, no thanks, I will take the bus from here. Okay, now Jack, he says, well, of course, if you feel like that about it, if you think like that, okay, no problem. And then Aunt Jen retently, she said, now, means pretendingly, or we can say, we have seen the meaning of pretend, finally agreed to something after initial refusal. She refused at first, and then Jack, he said, well, of course, if you feel like that about it. When Aunt Jen refused to go with Jack, so Jack, he agreed. Now, Aunt Jen, now I'm so sorry, or Aunt Jen, she said, I'm sorry if I sounded rude. Okay, when she spoken such a word, or what she said, that I'm not going to sit on Mr. C's part, I'm not going to sleep on the bed that does not belong to you, I'm not going to travel on the car that has only one tire and two thamangis or two cylinders which belongs to you, or the car that does not completely belong to you. When she said something like that, she sounded rudely to both Jack and Jill. So now, and Jen, she apologizes for that. She is pardoned for that, or she asks sorry for that, and she says, I'm so sorry if I sounded rude. Now, but really I'm shocked. And Jen, she says, I'm really shocked. How do you find the way, or how she says, I'm shocked to find the way you are living. They were living in a very comfortable and luxurious house, but they were all in installment, or they did not completely belong to them. Now see Anjan also says, I have never owed a penny in my life. She says, I have never borrowed a penny. Okay, a penny is smallest currency unit. Like in our country we have paisa. Okay, a paisa is the smallest currency unit. Now in the same way, they have the penny. Now she says, that's my motto and I want you to do the same. Now she says, I have never borrowed a penny in my life, and that is my motto, and I just want you, that is my aim. And she says, I want you also to do the same. She opens her handbag. She had the handbag, of course you know that ladies, they carry the handbag. So she just opened her handbag and she looked something for in the handbag, and she takes out a little check, and I was meaning to give you anyway. Now Anjan, she took out a check from her handbag, and she said, anyway I wanted to give you this, and she hands the check to Jill, the wife, and she says, suppose you take it and pay off just one of your bills. She says, take just the check and pay for any of the bill or any of the object, and any of the objects installment, and completely owe that, or buy that completely for you. At least you can say that one thing of the house completely belongs to us. Now Jill, the wife, she was awkwardly, she says thank you, and thank you Anjan, and she says, it's very nice of you. And Anjan, she says, patting her arm, means giving a lap or slap on her arm. She says, there, now I must be going. She says, take it, or there it is, and I'm just going. Jack, he says, I will see you to the bus anyway. Now Jack, he says, anyway I will take you to the bus, and until you do not get the bus, I will be there until you do not get the bus. Now Jill, she goodbyes to Aunt Jan, and she says, and thank you so much for the present or the gift. Aunt Jan, she kisses her, and then she also says goodbye, my dear, and she and Jack goes out, means Aunt Jan and Jack, both of them goes out of the house. Now Jill, the wife, she looks at the check she had, she exclaims with surprise. She found that the check was of 10 pounds, and she hurries to the table. She goes to the table and addresses, and she puts that check in the envelope and endorse it, and then check slips inside with a bill, with the bill, or with the installment bill, we can say, or receipt, we can say. And she takes her bag and seal the envelope, and then she rings the bell. She goes somewhere, and she rings the bell, and it was a moment that the nurse comes out. When the bell was rung, the nurse comes out from and then with the baby in her arm. Jill, she says, oh nurse, I want you to run and post this for me. And Jill, she had the check, and she went to nurse with that check, and she says, nurse, give the baby to me, and take this check and post it, run and post it for me. Now nurse, she says, certainly madam. She hands the baby to Jill. Nurse, she had the baby, and the nurse gave to Jill, and then she takes the letter, and she goes from there. A second later, Jack comes in, and then Jack, He says, well, she's gone. Okay, Jack, when he comes after leaving Aunt Jane up to the bus, and then she says, what a tartar. Okay, Jack, he says, what a tartar. Tartar meaning, irritated person. So Jack, he says about Aunt Jane that Aunt Jane is, or she is a, irritated person. Now, anyway, she did leave us a bit on account. At least she gave something for us and she left. Okay, how much was it now? Jack is asking to Jill that how much amount Aunt Jen gave to Jill. Now Jill, she respond 10 pounds, and then Jack, he says, means few means that I have told you in word meaning, that is expression to show the certain expression or feeling. And then we can, now Jackie says, we can pay for the next 2 months on the car with that. Jackie says the amount 10 pounds that we have got, that amount we can use for the car for the next 2 months. But Jill, he says, I am afraid we can't. Jill, she says that we can't do like that as you are saying. Jackie says, why ever not? Why can't we do that? Now, Jill, she says, you see, I have already sent it for something else. Now, Jill, she says to Jack that the check which I got from Aunt Jen, that I have already sent for something else. And Nuts has just gone to post it. I have given it to the nurse and she has gone to post it. Jack, he says, well, that's all right, but who have you sent it to? So Jill, she says, Dr. Martin. I have sent the check to Dr. Martin. Jack, he says, Dr. Martin, what on earth possessed you to do that, or what made you do like that? Jill, she was probably in tears, and she says, there, now you're going to be angry with me. Okay, Jill, she says, no, I was knowing, or I knew that you will be angry on me. Jackie says, I'm not angry on you, but why waste good amount of money on the doctor? Okay, doctor didn't expect to get paid anyway. Doctors should not be paid like that, or we should not expect that the doctor should be paid. Jack, he says like that. But Jill, she says, she was sobbing a little, means she was crying a little, and then she says, but you don't understand what I am trying to say. You don't understand. Jackie says, understand what? What you are trying to say? I don't understand. Okay, Jill, she says, why? Just one more installment and baby really ours. Okay, so here is the thing that I want to tell you. Jack and Jill, they, or we can say, they were living in a house that was so luxurious. The house was luxurious, the furnitures were luxurious, the car was luxurious, a radiogram, and everything of their house was luxurious, but none of the thing that belonged to Mr. Jack and Jill. Everything was on installment. Even at the last sentence we see, Jill, she says, just one more installment and baby really ours. Means the baby that they had on, or the baby they had, that also did not belong completely to them. That baby was also, they had the baby, and that baby was also on installment. That was an installment, you can say. Okay, and she is holding out the infant, and that child was the infant child, means very small. And we knew about the family, Jack and Jill, that everything of their life, or everything they had, that all were in installment. And that is what the title is, Never Never Nest, or the meaning of the title is that the house cannot, or never be belong to them. The house cannot be belong to them.